Australian resident Jessica Wongso has been charged with the murder of Mina Salihin. Police allege she poisoned her friend by adding cyanide to her coffee.
Jessica itu kan kayak setan itu. Deep inside is something like the evil gitu. Yang dibilang the trial of the century itu betul.
Evidence 6. The loss of 50 frames from tampered CCTV 7 footage. A forensic analysis of the 50-frame discrepancy in CCTV video 7 indicated a significant impact on the integrity of the digital evidence. This frame discrepancy raised suspicions that one or both versions of the video had been manipulated or edited. During the critical time frame when Jessica was suspected of aligning a paper bag and inserting cyanide, the presence or absence of these 50 frames could have affected the clarity of the event. The reduction in video frames by removing 50 frames could have caused the loss of crucial details necessary to accurately understand the sequence of events. For instance, if the scenes between 16:28 and 40 seconds Western Indonesian time and 16:29 and 50 seconds Western Indonesian time were among the missing 50 frames, it could obscure vital information such as Jessica's hand movements or objects that might have been present in those scenes. Such a significant loss of visual information could cast doubt on the reliability of the evidence presented in court. Furthermore, the discrepancy in the number of frames between the reports of Christopher Hariman Rianto and Muhammad Na Al-Azhar highlighted inconsistencies and a loss of integrity in the evidence presented by both forensic experts. The 50-frame discrepancy raised questions about the reliability of the digital evidence collection and presentation process in this case. This inconsistency could lead to uncertainty and doubt about the experts' testimonies and potentially influence the final decision in the trial. The forensic impact was that the absence of the 50 frames in the downscaled video version could obscure the complete picture of events that occurred during the critical time frame. This not only affected the court's ability to make an informed decision based on the available evidence, but also cast doubt on the validity of the forensic experts' testimonies and analyses. This situation underscored the importance of maintaining the integrity of digital evidence in the judicial process to ensure that true justice is achieved. Furthermore, the forensic impact of the downscaled video clip with 50 missing frames, where Jessica Wongso was accused of moving the stirrer from the table into Myrna Salihin's glass, aligning a paper bag, and inserting cyanide into Myrna Salihin's coffee cup, is significant. First, the missing frames could result in a loss of crucial details that are essential for accurately understanding the sequence of events. If the missing frames contained key actions, such as Jessica's hand movements or the placement of objects, their absence could obscure critical evidence. This could potentially lead to misinterpretations or doubts about what actually occurred during the critical time frame. Second, the integrity of the digital evidence is compromised by the reduction in resolution and the missing frames. Any gaps or sudden jumps in the video could suggest tampering or editing, raising questions about the authenticity of the footage. This inconsistency could undermine the reliability of the evidence presented in court and cast doubt on the overall case against Jessica. Additionally, the discrepancy in the number of frames could create uncertainty and confusion. It could lead to different interpretations by forensic experts, which in turn could affect their testimonies and analyses. This inconsistency may introduce reasonable doubt, impacting the court's ability to make a well-informed decision based on the available evidence. Overall, the forensic impact of the downscaled video with missing frames is substantial. It affects the clarity and reliability of the evidence, potentially influencing the outcome of the trial and the justice delivered.
Australian resident Jessica Wongso has been charged with the murder of Mina Salihin. Police allege she poisoned her friend by adding cyanide to her coffee.
Jessica itu kan kayak setan itu. Deep inside is something like the evil gitu. Yang dibilang the trial of the century itu betul.
Evidence 7. The missing 100 frames from CCTV video 9. The discrepancy of 100 frames between the metadata of the CCTV video file 9 and the reports by Christopher Hariman Rianto and Muhammad Na Al-Azhar indicated a significant difference in the total number of frames. This reduction in the number of frames suggested manipulation or editing in one of the video versions. The critical time range, during which the coffee served by Agus Triono was still in a two-layer state, added complexity to the forensic analysis. The reduction in frame resolution from 1920 by 1080 pixels mentioned in both reports showed that both video versions had undergone similar changes. However, the difference in the total number of frames raised questions about the validity of the editing process. These changes might have been intentionally made to remove or obscure certain information in the video. During this critical time range, the missing 100 frames could have significantly impacted the understanding of the case. The loss of small details in the scene could obscure the understanding of what actually happened. This impact could influence the court's interpretation of the evidence and the credibility of expert testimony. The forensic analysis of the frame discrepancy indicated doubts about the reliability and integrity of the digital evidence presented in this case. The frame discrepancy highlighted the need for transparency and accuracy in the process of collecting and presenting digital evidence in court. Openness was necessary to ensure that all information was available and trustworthy for the court to make an accurate decision. Forensic impact of the missing 100 frames from CCTV Video 9, Evidence Manipulation. The discovery of 100 missing frames in the CCTV footage strongly indicated potential manipulation of the video evidence. In forensic analysis, the integrity of the evidence is paramount. When frames are missing, it suggests that someone might have deliberately altered the video to either remove or obscure crucial moments. This could be done to hide certain actions, events, or objects that would have otherwise been captured. The possibility of tampering undermines the authenticity of the video, making it unreliable as evidence. Forensic experts must then determine whether the missing frames result from intentional deletion or technical issues, which requires detailed analysis of the video's metadata and structure. Detail loss. Missing frames can lead to significant loss of detail, which is crucial in forensic investigations. In video footage, every frame can capture vital information, such as the movement of individuals, interactions between people, or the presence of objects. Losing 100 frames could mean missing key moments that provide context or evidence of actions. For instance, subtle movements or exchanges that occur in these missing frames could be critical for understanding the sequence of events. This loss can impair the ability to reconstruct the incident accurately, affecting the overall investigation and the conclusions drawn from the video evidence. Court interpretation. The integrity and completeness of evidence are essential for fair legal proceedings. When evidence such as CCTV footage is incomplete or manipulated, it can mislead the court. Judges and juries rely on clear and accurate evidence to make informed decisions. Missing frames can create gaps in the narrative, leading to misinterpretations of the events. For example, if the missing frames contained a crucial interaction or movement, the court might miss out on understanding the true context, potentially resulting in unjust outcomes. This can affect the credibility of the case and the confidence in the judicial process. Need for transparency. The discrepancy in the number of frames underscores the need for transparency in handling digital evidence. Forensic investigations must be meticulous and transparent to ensure that all evidence presented is complete and accurate. Any signs of tampering or missing information must be thoroughly investigated and reported. Transparency in the forensic process ensures that all parties involved, including the court, legal teams, and forensic experts, have confidence in the evidence being presented. It also ensures that any anomalies or discrepancies are properly documented and explained. Integrity of digital evidence. The case highlights the critical importance of maintaining the integrity of digital evidence. Forensic procedures must be robust to detect and prevent any form of tampering. This includes verifying the authenticity of the video, ensuring that no frames are missing, and documenting any changes made to the original footage. Ensuring the integrity of digital evidence is essential for upholding the standards of justice. Any doubts about the authenticity or completeness of the evidence can jeopardize the entire case, emphasizing the need for rigorous forensic standards and protocols. In conclusion, the missing 100 frames from CCTV Video 9 have profound forensic implications. They raise questions about potential manipulation, lead to loss of crucial details, can mislead court interpretations, underscore the need for transparency, and highlight the importance of maintaining the integrity of digital evidence. These factors collectively emphasize the need for thorough and meticulous forensic analysis to ensure justice is served.
Australian resident Jessica Wongso has been charged with the murder of Salihin. Police allege she poisoned her friend by adding cyanide to her coffee.
Jessica itu kan kayak setan itu. Deep inside is something like evil gitu. Yang dibilang the trial of the century itu betul.
Evidence 8. Muhammad Nuha Al-Azhar performed downscaling on CCTV 1 footage from 1546 to 1830 local time, reducing the frame dimensions, TO 960 by 576 pixels and the frame rate to 10 frames per second. According to point 27 in the interrogation report, BAP Barita Akara Pamarikson, of Muhammad Nuha Al-Azhar, the dimensions should have been 1920 by 1080 pixels. During this time interval, tracking Ranga's movement in making coffee was necessary, yet Muhammad Nuha Al-Azhar blurred it instead. Analysis. The forensic impact of Muhammad Nuha Al-Azhar's downscaling of CCTV 1 footage from 1546 to 1830 local time is significant. By reducing the frame dimensions to 960 by 576 pixels, and the frame rate from 25 to 10 frames per second, crucial details were obscured. According to point 27 in the interrogation report of Muhammad Nuha Al-Azhar, the dimensions should have remained at 1920, extension 1080 pixels. This intentional manipulation of the video's resolution and frame rate raises questions about the integrity of the evidence presented in court. During this time interval, tracking Ranga's movement in making coffee was essential for understanding the sequence of events. The downscaling of the CCTV-1 footage, orchestrated by Muhammad Nuha Al-Azhar, severely impacts the ability to analyze whether the coffee and milk were not mixed, remained as two layers, or not in the cup before the alleged poisoning incident. During the crucial time interval, tracking Ranga's movements in preparing the coffee was essential for reconstructing the sequence of events leading up to the alleged crime. However, Muhammad Nuha Al-Azhar's actions blurred this crucial aspect instead of preserving it. By reducing the frame dimensions and frame rate, the clarity and accuracy of the footage were compromised, hindering forensic analysis and potentially distorting the portrayal of events. This manipulation could lead to misinterpretation and false conclusions during legal proceedings. The decision to downscale the CCTV footage precisely during the time when Ranga was preparing the coffee and milk raises significant questions about the potential motives behind this manipulation. One possible explanation is that reducing the frame dimensions and frame rate during this critical period was intended to obscure or conceal any suspicious activity related to the introduction of any substance into the coffee. By reducing the clarity and detail of the footage precisely during the preparation of the beverage, Muhammad Nuha Al-Azhar may have sought to create ambiguity or uncertainty regarding the events leading up to the alleged poisoning. This manipulation could have been strategically employed to make it more difficult for forensic analysts to determine definitively whether any substance was introduced into the coffee during Ranga's preparation process. Additionally, the timing of the downscaling coinciding with Ranga's actions suggests that Muhammad Nuha Al-Azhar may have sought to hide any potential evidence of tampering or foul play during the coffee preparation phase. By obscuring crucial details of Ranga's movements and actions, the manipulation of the CCTV-1 footage could have been aimed at casting doubt on the integrity of the evidence and complicating efforts to establish a clear timeline of events. While it remains speculative, the possibility that any chemical compound was introduced into the coffee during Ranga's preparation cannot be discounted. The deliberate manipulation of the CCTV-1 footage during this specific timeframe underscores the importance of conducting a thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding the alleged poisoning and highlights the need to preserve the integrity of forensic evidence to ensure a fair and just legal process. Therefore, Muhammad Nuha Al-Azhar's downscaling of CCTV-1 footage had a detrimental forensic impact. It obscured vital details and compromised the integrity of the evidence, potentially affecting the outcome of the case. Such tampering undermines the reliability of forensic analysis and casts doubt on the accuracy of the investigation process. Furthermore, the discrepancy in color between the coffee prepared by Ranga and the coffee consumed by Murna Salihin is a critical point of contention in the case. Any alterations to the footage that obscure or distort these color differences directly impact the toxicologist's ability to assess the presence of cyanide accurately. This discrepancy is central to their analyses and interpretations, and is pivotal in determining the timeline of events surrounding Murna Salihin's consumption of the coffee. Ultimately, the downscaling of the CCTV footage severely compromises the forensic integrity of the evidence and undermines the credibility of the toxicologist's findings. By distorting crucial visual and temporal information, the alterations to the footage introduced by Muhammad Na Al-Azhar call into question the validity of any conclusions drawn from it. The forensic impact of Muhammad Na Al-Azhar's actions extends beyond the specific details of the case to broader implications for the reliability and integrity of forensic evidence in legal proceedings. Ultimately, the downscaling of the CCTV footage represents a significant breach of forensic protocol and ethical standards. It highlights the need for stringent oversight and accountability measures to prevent similar instances of evidence tampering in the future. The detrimental effects of such manipulation reverberate throughout the legal system, undermining public trust in the administration of justice and raising questions about the fairness and impartiality of legal proceedings.
Australian resident Jessica Wongso has been charged with the murder of Murna Salihin. Police allege she poisoned her friend by adding cyanide to her coffee.
Jessica itu kan kayak setan itu. Deep inside is something like evil gitu. Yang dibilang the trial of the century itu betul.
Evidence 9. CCTV video 2 from 1355 to 1602 local time was reduced in frame dimensions to 960 by 576 pixels. Muhammad Na Al-Azhar deliberately performed downscaling on CCTV 2 footage from 1355 to 1602 local time, reducing the frame dimensions to 960 x 576 px. According to question 27 in the interrogation report, BAP Barita Akara Pamarikson, of Muhammad Na Al-Azhar, the dimensions should have been 1920 by 1080 px. Analysis. Muhammad Na Al-Azhar's deliberate downscaling of CCTV-2 footage from 1355 to 1602 local time had significant forensic implications. By reducing the frame dimensions to 960 x 576 px, crucial details that could have been captured in the original high-resolution footage were obscured. This intentional manipulation raises questions about the integrity of the evidence presented in court and suggests potential ulterior motives behind altering the footage. The original CCTV-2 footage should have captured remnants of the coffee consumed by Murna Salihin, which was brought from table 54 by eyewitness Devi Siagian. However, by downscaling the footage, Muhammad Na Al-Azhar effectively hindered any analysis of the coffee residue, making it difficult to determine its composition or any potential contaminants, such as cyanide. This manipulation undermines the ability to gather critical evidence related to the case and could potentially impact the accuracy of forensic analyses. The impact of downscaling on CCTV footage, particularly in cases involving suspected poisoning with substances like cyanide, is crucial for forensic pathologists in several ways. Firstly, downscaling can significantly degrade the quality and clarity of the footage, making it more challenging for pathologists to observe subtle details and nuances in the subject's behavior and physical condition. This reduction in visual fidelity may hinder the accurate identification and interpretation of specific symptoms or reactions exhibited by the individual after consuming the alleged poison substance. Secondly, downscaling may obscure important visual cues that could provide valuable insights into the individual's physiological responses to cyanide poisoning. For example, changes in facial expression, skin tone, or bodily movements that typically accompany cyanide exposure may be less discernible or entirely lost due to the diminished resolution and frame rate of the footage. As a result, pathologists may struggle to assess the severity of the victim's condition or determine the presence of characteristic symptoms associated with cyanide poisoning, such as respiratory distress, convulsions, or loss of consciousness. Moreover, the distortion or loss of critical visual information resulting from downscaling could impede the accurate reconstruction of events leading up to and following the alleged poisoning incident. Pathologists rely on comprehensive and unaltered video footage to establish timelines, identify potential sources of contamination, and correlate observed symptoms with specific actions or exposures. However, when the footage is compromised by downscaling, these forensic analyses become inherently more challenging, and the reliability of any conclusions drawn from the evidence may be called into question. Furthermore, downscaling may limit the forensic pathologist's ability to differentiate between natural physiological responses and those induced by external factors such as poisoning. Without access to high-quality, unaltered footage, pathologists may struggle to conclusively attribute observed symptoms or abnormalities to cyanide poisoning, potentially leading to inconclusive or speculative findings. This limitation underscores the critical importance of preserving the integrity and fidelity of CCTV footage in forensic investigations, particularly in cases involving allegations of poisoning or other criminal activities. Therefore, the impact of downscaling on CCTV footage presents significant obstacles for forensic pathologists tasked with analyzing suspected cases of cyanide poisoning. By degrading the quality, clarity, and reliability of the visual evidence, downscaling diminishes the effectiveness of forensic analyses and undermines the ability to accurately assess and interpret the individual's physiological responses to alleged poisoning events. As such, efforts to preserve the integrity and authenticity of video evidence are paramount in ensuring the validity and credibility of forensic investigations and legal proceedings. The motive behind Mohammed Al-Azhar's actions warrants scrutiny. By manipulating the CCTV2 footage, he may have sought to conceal crucial details that could have implicated or exonerated individuals involved in the case. This raises concerns about the objectivity and impartiality of the investigation process, as well as the reliability of the evidence presented in court. Moreover, the forensic impact of downscaling the CCTV2 footage extends beyond the immediate implications for the Jessica Wongso case. It underscores the broader issue of tampering with digital evidence and the challenges it poses for forensic analysis and legal proceedings. Such manipulations not only compromise the integrity of the evidence, but also erode public trust in the justice system.
Australian resident Jessica Wongso has been charged with the murder of Salihin. Police allege she poisoned her friend by adding cyanide to her coffee.
Jessica itu kan kayak setan itu. Deep inside is something like the evil gitu. Yang dibilang the trial of the century itu betul.
Evidence 10. CCTV3 footage from 1355 to 1718 local time was reduced in frame dimensions to 960 by 576 pixels. The deliberate downscaling of CCTV video 3 from its original resolution of 1920 by 1080 pixels to 960 by 576 pixels was a critical case of digital tampering. Forensic digital experts, Mohammed Al-Azhar and Hariman Rianto, were responsible for this manipulation. This intentional reduction in resolution severely compromised the quality of the footage and had significant forensic implications, particularly concerning the analysis of the color and volume of the coffee consumed by Murti Salihin. The original high-resolution footage would have provided a clear and detailed view of the coffee's color and volume, crucial elements for toxicological and forensic examinations. At 1920 by 1080 pixels, forensic experts could have accurately analyzed whether there was any color change in the coffee when it was served by Agus Triono at table 54, captured by CCTV 9, compared to the residue when Devi Siagian took the cup from table 54 to the cocktail table, recorded by CCTV 3. Such color differences could indicate whether or not there was the presence of cyanide, which was a key aspect of the analysis conducted by toxicologists Nursimran Subandi and Imade Agus Gel. However, the downscaling to 960 by 576 pixels blurred these critical details, making it challenging to detect subtle color changes that could signify chemical reactions. This intentional reduction in quality obstructed the toxicologist's ability to determine the presence of cyanide in the coffee accurately. The analysis of color changes in the coffee would have provided vital evidence regarding the presence of toxins, but this opportunity was lost due to the compromised resolution. Furthermore, the volume of the remaining coffee in Myrna Salihin's cup was another crucial piece of evidence that could have been analyzed with high-resolution footage. At the original resolution, forensic experts could have used edge detection techniques to accurately measure the remaining coffee volume, providing insights into how much coffee Myrna and others, including Hani, Devi Siagian, and Marwan Amir, consumed. Understanding the volume of the coffee residue is essential for reconstructing the sequence of events and verifying testimonies. For example, it would have clarified whether Hani drank a minimal amount of coffee or if Devi Siagian merely tasted the coffee by placing a drop on her tongue with a straw previously used by Myrna. The downscaling also significantly impacted the ability to analyze body gestures and interactions. The lower resolution made it difficult to observe fine details, such as hand movements and facial expressions, which are crucial for understanding the interactions between individuals and their responses to the situation. Forensic experts could have closely examined Myrna Salihin's gestures and physiological responses when she was taken out of the Café Olivier in a wheelchair, captured by camera 3. This analysis could have provided essential clues about her condition and the effects of the alleged poisoning. However, the reduced resolution hindered the ability to perform such detailed assessments, impacting the accuracy of forensic diagnoses. Moreover, the intentional reduction in frame rate from 25 frames per second to 10 frames per second further degraded the footage quality. This manipulation resulted in choppy and disjointed video, making it challenging to establish a coherent timeline of events and accurately interpret the actions of individuals involved. A higher frame rate provides smoother motion, essential for detailed gesture analysis and understanding the sequence of actions. The lower frame rate impeded the ability to analyze movements accurately, further compromising the forensic investigation. Using the downscaled CCTV3 footage, the forensic experts Mohammed Na Al-Azhar and Christopher Hariman Rianto, along with psychologists Antonia Radi Angiani and Sarlito Wirawan Sarwono, accused Jessica of turning her face away while standing in front of the cocktail bar. They claimed that she was observing the locations of all the CCTV cameras in Café Olivier and monitoring table 54, implying that she was preparing to shield herself from camera surveillance while allegedly putting cyanide into the coffee cup. The downscaling of the video, reducing its frame dimensions from 1920 by 1080 pixels to 960 by 576 pixels, significantly degraded the image quality. This manipulation obscured the clarity needed to accurately interpret Jessica's movements and intentions. At the original high resolution, her facial expressions and eye movements could have been more clearly analyzed to determine whether she was indeed monitoring the cameras and the table. However, the tampering rendered these subtle details indiscernible, which is critical for assessing behavior accurately in forensic psychology. The accusation that Jessica was intentionally positioning herself to avoid surveillance relies heavily on the interpretation of her body language and eye movements. Given the degraded video quality, such interpretations are speculative at best. The forensic impact is substantial because it raises the possibility of misjudging her actions and intentions due to the poor quality of the video evidence. This downscaling not only obstructed the accurate forensic analysis of the scene but also potentially led to misleading conclusions by the psychologists and forensic experts involved. By relying on this compromised footage, the forensic and psychological analyses presented in the case were inherently flawed. The lack of clarity in the video undermines the credibility of the assertions made by the experts about Jessica's behavior. This manipulation could lead to significant misinterpretations, affecting the overall outcome of the trial and Jessica's right to a fair evaluation based on accurate and reliable evidence. In summary, the deliberate downscaling of CCTV footage from 1920 by 1080 pixels to 960 by 576 pixels, along with the reduction in frame rate, had significant forensic implications. It obscured critical visual information needed for a thorough forensic analysis, compromised the integrity of the evidence, and undermined the judicial process. The actions of Mohammed Na Al-Azhar and Christopher Hariman Rianto not only obstructed justice in this specific case, but also highlighted broader issues of abuse of power and manipulation within the law enforcement system. The impact of these actions extends beyond the immediate case, affecting public trust in the criminal justice system and hindering the pursuit of justice.